Right, so we should be recording now. So again, if you don't know me, I'm Chris Smith. I'm the principal. Hopefully you know at least my name by now. I'll let Mrs. Ironroad and Mrs. Groover introduce themselves here in a minute. You can also introduce any extra folks you have around you. And so again, we're happy Mrs. Ironroad. I don't want to steal her thunder, but she is a long-term sub for Mrs. Land, and she's a parent, a sixth grade parent. So I'm confident in her ability to relate to our sixth graders, which is always a little bit of a challenge this time of year. The sixth graders, they want to be to middle school, and eighth graders want to be in high school. And I have a senior who wants to be out of high school, right? So these transition years in the spring get a little challenging, but she'll do a great job. A little backdrop, we had planned to have Mrs. Ironroad shadow and be with Mrs. Land for a few days between Fairfax County HR being a little delayed and Mrs. Land's baby not being delayed and being a little bit on the early side. That wasn't able to happen. But again, we do have a great support team that Mrs. Groover is a part of. Again, we're lucky here in the city of Fairfax that we have some of these extra positions. Math resource teacher is not, very few schools have that position because it's a position that is not funded by Fairfax County Public Schools. Reading resource teacher is a position that every elementary school has. Instructional coach is another one that not everybody has. So the fact that we have all three, it's not an ideal situation. Obviously, we all want Mrs. Land to be the teacher, but she's home with her baby. So with that, why don't I turn it first over to you, Mrs. Ironroad. You can give an introduction, and then Fiona, you can go after. All right.
Great. Well, hello, parents. First of all, thank you for trusting me with your students. I love them already. It's such a sweet class. Just to give you the full scoop, I had actually been spying a little bit before I even knew I was going to be in this position. Like Chris said, I'm a mom of one of the girls in class. So Lana is my daughter, and I have another sixth grader, Michaela. They're twins. So I've gotten the behind the scenes scoop for a while in Mrs. Land's class and in the sixth grade, but also I've been in the classroom a couple of times as a parent volunteer and observed Mrs. Land in the classroom that way. So that has been helpful. But most of all, I've observed these kids and they're great. So many amazing personalities and so many amazing strengths that when I heard of this need, I thought of those kids and I was like, I would love to help them finish sixth grade off well and to prepare for middle school well. And my background is actually in business, but I have worked with youth groups ages 12 to 18 for the last almost 20 years. So I love youth, especially at this age. Look at that sweet baby. Oh. Anyway, it's a great class. They've been through a lot. There were some unknowns with Mrs. Land leaving sooner than expected, and subs coming in and out, and they're such hardworking and diligent students that I know it wasn't easy. So I'm excited to be there and give them some stability. And most of all, just give them someone who's loving them and cheering them on a consistent basis through the end of sixth grade. Hi, Julia. Good to see you. Anyway, a little bit of my personal background. I am a wife and a mother of 4 kids. My oldest is 15 years old. He's a freshman at Fairfax High School. And then I have Lana and Michaela, who are twins in sixth grade at Daniels Run. And my youngest is Caitlin, who is 4, doing gymnastics on my bed over here on the other side of the screen. But yeah, so it's a busy crew over here, but everybody learns how to help out, and that's how I run our classroom. Everybody is a contributor. Everyone is expected to be considerate of each other and of the space. And we're learning it. And they're helping me learn the systems, learn the ropes. Um, I also have an amazing support team that has really stepped in and helped with instruction for math and reading and social studies and science, so that my role can be to support the kids in their learning. So I'll chime in and help out during the instruction, but we have our specialists primarily delivering that content right now. And that has been immensely helpful, both for the kids to get the instruction they need, as well as for me to see a bunch of different styles modeled. So I'm learning a lot. Last week, I will admit, I hit the weekend very tired, but I love learning and I love growing, and I feel myself growing in this position. And I want to model for the kids what we do when we step into something that we don't know, and how we handle that. And so, yeah, modeling it firsthand here. So that's a lot of talking, but I'm delighted to work with your kids, and I can't wait to get to know you as parents more. I would love to involve you as much as you would like to be involved in the classroom, because this really is an amazing group of kids. So.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Ironroad. Mrs. Groover, who's tonight going by Dylan, her husband's name.
Sorry, yeah, logged in.
You want to give just a brief introduction of who you are, your role, and then how we're supporting instruction?
Yeah. So my name is Fiona Groover. I'm our instructional coach at Daniels Run. And so my role is to support teachers and work alongside them. And I have had the pleasure of working with all of your students, your kids, which has been really great. And I've been at Daniels Run for 3 years now, and so have known them over the years, and have gotten to jump in with Mr. Ironroad over the past week or two, and help her with some planning to get set up, and some initial kind of connections between her 6th grade team. So have been facilitating how the team has been supporting her with planning as well. They divide up their planning, so each member of the 6th grade team takes a different content: reading, math, social studies, and science. And so we've been working together to take some of their plans and really help her to then take those on. And then I also work with our reading specialist and our math specialist that Chris was talking about. And so we have come together to support the students. And it's been really great to all be in there together and to be able to get to kind of debrief and figure out how to best move forward. So I feel lucky to be able to work with them.
All right. Thank you. So at this point, we'll open it up to questions, unless Mrs. Groover or Mrs. Ironroad wanted to add anything. But if you have any questions, we'll take them.
Well, yes. Good afternoon, and nice to meet you, Miss Ironroad. I am Jimena Lopez. I am Lucas Avendano's mother.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you. I don't have any questions at this time, but oh yes, probably I do. Would you have you sent us your email address? How we can communicate with you?
Now that I have one, yes, I will. It's been a little bit getting started, but yes, I do have, and I have a letter that I've written for all the parents. So I'll send that out shortly after this meeting tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you and welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we love Lucas. He's such a great student, and he's been so helpful in, telling me, oh, actually for specials, here's what we're doing, or, so please tell him thank you from me for his amazing leadership in the classroom.
I will. Thank you too.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Kim, did you have a question at all?
A few. Just a few comments, and then I'd like to welcome you on board, first of all. And I've been very relieved that you are already. Julia already mentioned that one of your kids in her classroom, and I was very glad to see you as a parent and a teacher too. It helps the kids a lot, and I think that Mr. Smith's choice of your substitute teacher for Miss Down was excellent, more than excellent, as a matter of fact, I have to confess.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just found
Yeah.
out from
Go ahead.
that for such a financial support for the resource teacher, Miss Groover was kind of surprised by the Daniels runs elementary schools dedication to the students as having a matter having the resource teacher to her. It was greatly appreciated, and I welcome you. And I'm very glad to meet you too. And just one quick comment on the International Day. Since we are in a small group, I have to confess something. And I really wanted to join that International Day in the 30th in coming. And my shipment, rest of the remaining household is not being shipped from the Korea yet, and unfortunately, and I have to travel back to end of the May, as Miss Ironroad already informed, and I strongly regret I don't have anything to display and host a table on that night, and apologize for it, and please forgive my lack of participation in the school event. I strongly wish to participate in that one, and probably next year or something if I have a chance. But I will try to do it in the remaining quarters as much as possible. And just a quick, just curiosity, and since Julia has been new to school, and she is kind of having a difficulty to find a schedule and like learning points and stuff. I already reached out the Department of Education in Virginia and saw all the list of the standard of the learnings for each subject, and so we kind of see that what's forthcoming and what has been done before, and but if we can inform her and what would be the learning point on the class in the in a weekly basis, that would be fantastic and help her to forecast. And she Googles everything, and so whatever you just hand out, she goes in and type it out, try to find out, and even translate that one in native language as well. So that's just a little small wish and request for help, and that will be very helpful. I appreciate it, and again I would like to welcome you aboard, and very glad to meet the rest of you. And Miss Smith, it was a fantastic coordination to introduce myself, and then actually I was wondering when I meet Miss Ironroad, and so it was a great and contribution from Miss Smith. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. And certainly you're welcome back to any future international nights. And I think in terms of what she needs, maybe Dylan, Mrs. Cooper, Mrs. Ironroad, let's see what we can do there. And if not, we can always have a conference or something if needed to personalize some things for her. So,
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
And Miss
Even if it's
go ahead.
not an official international night, Mr. Kim, we would love to hear about Korea. So once your belongings get here, we would love to arrange a time for you to visit the classroom and teach us about your country. So that would be amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I will say Julia is a delightful student. She is a ray of sunshine in class, and she's such a hard worker. I love having her in class. So you have an amazing daughter.
Appreciate your recognition.
And Mrs. Brixis has joined us. She's a parent, but also a sub here at school sometimes. Beth, did you have any questions for us?
Beth joined us super late, you should say.
That's
no,
okay.
I was just joining to say hello. I know I was super late, but I just wanted to say hi and make sure that I stopped by to say hi to Miss Ironroad and thank her for stepping in to do this hard job here for the end of the year. I just wanted to see what this was all about, but and say thank you to her and let her know that I'm here to help the class in any way this last couple months of the year.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for stopping by and for the wishes and for the support, especially. Yeah, appreciate you. You can help show me the ropes around the school too, because you know it in and out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the quick recap, Beth, is Mrs. Ironroad is excited to be in the class with the kids. She's getting lots of support from Fiona and our math and reading resource teachers. She has a letter she's going to send out with her email. This is recorded, Beth, so we'll also send the link out, and we'll also add your email to that one too, Shalon, so that they have it a couple times.
Great.
I think that's the summary of what we've talked about so far, right? So
You got it. Yep.
all right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, having Jimmy doesn't provide me with a lot of details on day-to-day information, even week-to-week or month-to-month information. So that will be helpful. Okay.
Yeah, and so I mean, one thing, and it's a good point, is that Mrs. Ironroad will be the point of contact, right, for parents, right? This is, it's different when it's a daily sub, right? You're still communicating with the classroom teacher, but yeah, certainly communicate with Mrs. Ironroad, and then we can help her with whatever she needs. Fiona, were you going to say something? Looked like you were going to. Chime in. No. Okay. All right. If that's it, thanks for joining us. We'll send out the recording and look forward to the next 2 months, 10 weeks or so that we have left, right? 11 weeks. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you.
Everyone.
Have a good
night.
Have a good evening.
evening. Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.